My name is Joey Lacapra from Connecticut. I'm 8 years old. I've been riding since I was 3 years old. I train with Coach James from the Moto Academy.
Nice and naturally comfortable. But look at the angle of your wrists. They just go straight up like that. So it's kind of hard to get your elbows past that point to here because it puts a lot of tension on your wrists, right? So what we need to do, bring our hands out a little bit and then rotate our wrists this way. One way to assure that you're doing this right, make a diamond with your hands over the crossbar. Nope, nice tight diamond, just like that. Right? And then when you bring your hands to the grips, pinch your shoulder blades together. You feel that? And then when we bring our hands to the grips, our wrists go from being like this to that. And the elbows just come right out automatically. Does that make sense? So we're gonna start gripping the bike like this instead of like this. Notice how when I just changed the angle of my hands, my elbows went right here, right? Your elbows look better on the entry, by the way. We still need to work on getting them away from here and more into that position. All right. Another thing, you're trying to turn the bike with your upper body and by moving your head to try and bring the bike this way or this way. What you need to focus on is just being centered here and moving it with your lower body. Easier said than done, right? But always try to keep your head centered, because what's happening in this left-hander right here and that left-hander over there and coming out of that right-hander before the step up, you're falling inside of the bike and you have to drop that foot, right? And you're making those little mistakes and they just keep happening over and over and over again. Just to be consistent here, focus on being here all the way through the turn so that there's no need to drop that inside foot, or so that head isn't coming down and you're falling inside of the bike. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about this? All right, one more thing I want to talk about is that you need to get your head forward a little bit more as you get on the gas. So what's happening is you're in this good attack position here, right? But then when you get on the throttle, you're doing this. So what's happening there is your arms are extending, making it really unstable and easy for you to move with your upper body. So what we need to do is get our heads forward so that when we do accelerate, we can kind of compensate for that force that pulls you back. Does that make sense? So we're here, and then when we go to get on the gas, we're here. Can you see?
Yeah.
None of my students ever have clean goggles. One thing you need to work on is looking ahead. I can tell even just by when I was standing right here, it took you till about a little bit after that sprinkler to realize that I was right here doing this. Whereas if I were coming over that hump back there and someone had their hand up right here I would see them probably as I got over that hump. So in general, yes, you want to be 12 to 15 feet ahead of you. But for these longer straightaways like this where there's nothing, just have your head up. What that also allows you to do is when there are braking bumps developing, you'll be able to analyze them as you're coming over the backside of that hump and approaching this. So you can kind of create a game plan very quickly, obviously, of how you're going to approach this section. So keep in mind, especially these longer straightaways, make sure you're looking ahead. All right, but that was really good. Get up in your attack position really quick. All right, that right there, this is nice, right? Make sure you're looking ahead always. I know it's weird to look at me because I'm so close to you, but that's what you would want. The problem is when you were just attacking that straightaway, you were so that your arms were extended, like a little more, like let your arms free up a little bit. I'm gonna adjust you. Again, that's gonna put all the stress right here, right here. So we need to get that head forward, especially when we accelerate, right? Normally your chin should be over the crossbar pad right where you are when you're in that attack position. When you get on the gas, it needs to come even further, but your knees need to stay in the same spot. So lower body stays back, head comes forward even more. But you looked really good. You wanna do some one-handed stuff on the other track? All right, let's go do that. When you accelerate, you lead with your head, because if you don't, and you're in this seated position here, just hanging out neutral, when you get on the throttle, you're gonna get yanked back. Get your head forward and your chest forward, right? We're pointing that chest up and out so that our elbow is able to stay up, and then our upper body is coming forward to compensate for that throttle. So you're in this position here. You try to turn the bike by doing that, right? So my elbow is now out of position. And then I'm rapidly changing the direction of the bike by turning the handlebars. So what we need to do in flat turns is, instead of doing this and leaning with the bike like we would in a nice berm or a rut, kind of like how you were doing out there, or turning with the handlebars and creating instability, we need to position ourselves on the outside corner of the seat. Flat turn technique, that's called. So if you'll notice, my head is right in line with the bottom of the tires. So what that means is I'm centered here, right? All of my weight is still in the tires because I'm able to rely on that side wall, but I'm still upright. So the bike's gonna lean underneath me, whereas if I was here, right, my weight in a flat corner would just push away. But since I'm here and I'm weighting that outside peg and I'm upright, the bike's gonna lean underneath me and I'm gonna just remain right up here, nice and stable, nice and upright.